Hi, I'm Yvette Barrios. I'm the department manager with the Mechanical and Biomedical Engineering Department. I'm here with Dr. Ganesh Uzer, and just wanted to ask you, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Yvette. Yeah, of course. So I am, my name is Ganesh Uzer. So I'm a assistant professor in Mechanical and Biomedical Engineering Department. This is my fourth year at Boise State, and I'm enjoying it so far.
That's awesome. So, you recently had this extremely high achievement that is very rare at Boise State. I think there's only been one other RO1 grant ever at Boise State, and now you're in this new prestigious realm. Can you tell us a little bit about what an RO1 grant is, what it means to you, and what it means to Boise State?
Okay, so RO1 is one of the, actually probably the highest amount research grant that NIH, National Institutes of Health, gives to a single investigators. It is a substantial research program covering about 5 years of research with a amount of anywhere between 200 and 400,000 per year. So these awards are usually given to investigators who show a significant amount of work and productivity in their research and in their preliminary data. The RO1 for Boise State means that we are really establishing ourselves as one of the region's best research universities, and it's really a testament to quality of work that we are trying to accomplish in our Mechanical and Biomedical Engineering Department.
That's amazing, and it's great work that you're bringing here. And so, can you tell me a little bit about what you do in your lab?
Yeah, of course. So we usually work on understanding how our musculoskeletal system are affected by mechanical challenges, and some people do this at tissue level. We do this at the cellular level. In other ways, what we're trying to understand is how cells in our bodies, stem cells specifically, feel the forces as we walk around or exercise, and how those forces then affect the cellular function. A great example of this can be a two ways, right? A positive regulation of how our bodies are affected by mechanical signals are evident when we go to the gym, right? So you have these muscles build up, and our bones are also similarly built up in response to those mechanical challenges. As we walk around, we run around, and we try to understand how cells at the molecular level sense these mechanical challenges. And negative regulation is also evident in our daily lives, right? For example, astronauts lose about 1% bone mass per month in space, right? So when you remove the gravity from the equation, right, they accelerate the bone loss about 10 times compared to a person who's on Earth that is 50 years old, right? So a 50-year-old person will lose about 1% bone mass per year, and astronauts without the gravity accelerates that to 1% per month, right? So it's a big problem for us, because you can imagine if we send astronauts to Mars, which will project take anywhere between 1 to 2 years, right, between the stops and like all the orbital time. And by the time an astronaut reaches Mars, they will lose about 20% bone and muscle loss, right? So you can imagine they could prone to fractures and things like that, right? So what we're trying to understand is how can we develop mechanically based therapies, non-pharmacologic therapies like exercise regimens or adding bouts of high intensity vibrations to the those sort of exercise regimens. How can we maximize or utilize the skeletal's adaptation to mechanical challenge to elevate some of those problems? Similarly, it's a problem for people who cannot exercise, right? So when you age, you don't walk around as much, right? You sit in your couch more, or if you're a service personnel who's injured, you are in extended periods of bed rest, right? And it's a known problem as early as Second World War, when soldiers were sitting in the beds, not moving around. Their fractures never healed as good, and then the doctors have to prescribe them to go and walk around so that the fractures heal faster. So we're really trying to harness those mechanical mechanisms in cells, and then how can we utilize it to a general population who doesn't have the luxury to exercise as they need to.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. And so my next question is do you have undergrads working in your lab? And if so, what exactly do they do? And
yes, we have, over the years, we have a number of undergrads who worked in the lab. And actually, last year, we had the pleasure of publishing a journal article in Nature Microgravity that was entirely composed of undergrad authors, right? So the first author to last author, they were all undergrads. So couple different things they do. They work definitely with cell models, right? So we had undergrads who built simulated microgravity devices, right? They designed it, they build it. We have undergrads who do 3D printing, right? We also try to model the mechanical forces within the bone marrow. So we have these tissue engineering constructs that we build that undergrads contribute by using 3D printing, those bone-like scaffolds. We have other undergrads who work on finite element modeling. So we also try to model cell structure or maybe tissue level mechanics using finite element models, and undergrads are really involved at every level. And they come with different motivations too. Some undergrads like to understand what working in a research lab or mechanobiology of bone in general, and they join the lab by going into these semester-long internship programs, right? That they can take as a credit, and they get out of this is that 10 hours a week experience of what it's to be work in the lab. Some of these students, in my case, about 70% of the students, then have a chance to stay in the lab and work more involved projects and work on the research projects that we work on as a lab. And some students stay in those projects, in some cases publish some journal articles, do some conference app posters, right? And some of those then stay as a grad students as well. So I think undergraduate research is the integral part of my lab, and it's without them, I don't think we could have done what we have done so far.
that's awesome. That's amazing to hear. And I'm sure that the students from Bronco Day would find that very interesting. So thank you.
Yeah.
Last question that I've got for you is, if you can go back to being an undergrad freshman, what advice would you give yourself?
Well, so it is really hard as an undergrad to think yourself where I will be in 10 years, right? So it's a pretty daunting question. You don't even know what courses you're going to take next semester. It's pretty hard to think about what I want to be in 10 years, but I will invite the freshmen to really think about what you want to do, what type of industry that you want to work on, and get on in contact with the professors early on to see, hey, I want to work in this area. Can you guide me for, finding me internships, giving me research chances to do it? Or, these people are experts in their field, so you should definitely knocking on their doors and asking them, hey, I want to work in this area. Can you help me? So ask help from your faculty early on.
That's great. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. So the last thing I've got is, do you have any additional thoughts or insights for the students that are attending the Bronco Day virtually?
Well, so this is an interesting time that we are attending this in a virtual way, right? So we usually have amazing campus events that the students and families can attend. This time, I will give them the advice of, it is usually easy to not pay attention to virtual events, right? So if you have any questions, please do ask and pay attention to what information is being given, because I think this will be a little bit challenging this year to pay attention virtually.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And I just wanted to say, go Broncos. We appreciate the things that you're doing. So.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Go Broncos.
Thank you.